What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Burning Hammer podcast. I'm your host, Mark Izzo, and alongside me, as always, is Dillon O'Brien. Dillon, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Mark. I'm excited to be back here for another episode of the Burning Hammer. Talk some wrestling. Got Full Gear coming up this weekend. Decent week of TV wrestling this week, so excited to be back for another episode.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fully packed 2 weeks of professional wrestling because we have Full Gear this weekend and then War Games the following weekend.
Yep.
So it's definitely a good time to be a professional wrestling fan. But before we get started, Dillon, what T-shirt are you rocking for this week's episode of the pod?
Okay, so the T-shirt I'm wearing, it's actually not a T-shirt; it's a tank top, and it is one that I forgot I owned. That's why I'm wearing a flannel over it. And so I'm happy that I thought I was gonna have to repeat this week uh because I thought I was running out, but I didn't. I got this. So I'm wearing the Matt Cardona Strong Island
Hell yeah.
AEW tank top. Was a gift from one of my friends, and he said his words were, "Dude, it literally says Strong Island. You have to get the tank top." I was like, I guess you're kind of right.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. The Matt Cardona Strong Island. The
Hell yeah.
shout out Matt Cardona.
Yeah, there's also really quick, there's been talks that he might return to WWE.
Oh wow, awesome!
Yeah.
That would be sick, dude. He
Yeah.
deserves a proper kind of final run in WWE.
Yeah.
He's a man.
I'll never forgive them for what they did after he won the IC title.
At wrestling, dude, having him lose it the next night on Raw was just the worst
I'll never
thing
forgive
ever,
them,
bro.
dude. That was fucked up.
It's so fucked up. After that moment too, that was so
Yeah.
awesome when he won too, because literally nobody was expecting it. He was the like one person that like everyone was like, oh, he's the one guy that's not gonna win.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we'll have to rewatch that. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, dude,
Picturing him on top of the ladder. The
just-
crowd was behind him. Woo!
Dude, amazing. What a moment. Shout out to
Hell
Matt
yeah.
Cardona, FKA Sack Rider.
For sure. And so for my T-shirts, I have a new purchase that I got last week, and I was pumped to wear it for the pod. This is the first time I'm wearing it. It's a T-shirt that I probably should have gotten a few weeks ago, but I'm happy I have it now, and that is the Bray Wyatt Moth T-shirts.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
What a great purchase.
Yeah, and I know we probably say it every week, but you need to stay up to date with WWE because they run sales all of the time.
Mhm.
They do like $20 T-shirts, like almost every day. I swear, every day I'll get an email that's some sort of sale. I got this one on sale for $20, so definitely stay up to date with your WWE. And before we get started, if you're not following the podcast, what are you doing? If you're
Seriously, man.
if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. That really helps a lot. If you're listening via audio streaming service, we are available wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure to leave us a review because that is a very big deal and those really help. And make sure to follow or subscribe, whatever it is that your streaming service does. The best way to stay up to date with when we release new episodes is to follow us on all of our social media. That is at The Burnt Hammer. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. That's the best way to stay up to date with when we release new episodes, get our initial thoughts and reactions on everything that happens in the professional wrestling world, along with anything that's breaking news, rumors, reports, anything like that. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Burnt Hammer. We are more than just a podcast. And Follow Dillon on Twitter and Instagram at DillO'Brien_wave. That's the best way to stay up to date with when he releases new articles. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Markizzo_wave. Again, that's the best way to stay up to date with when we release new articles. And if you want to read our articles, head over to vendettasportsmedia.com. I repeat, vendettasportsmedia.com. Me and Dillon are professional wrestling writers over there. We do previews, we do results and reviews for the weekly shows for AEW and WWE, along with early match card predictions. We do betting odds for all of the pay-per-views. And anything like that. We do fantasy booking, so make sure to head over to vendettasportsmedia.com, or if you're on our social media, click the link in our bio, and that will take you directly there. Dillon put up a really good TikTok on who should dethrone Roman Reigns. So make sure to head over to our TikTok and make sure you watch that. We're doing pretty good on the TikTok, so hop on the wave now while you still can, before the train leaves the station. Now,
Yeah, man,
with
this
that,
is probably our last pod ever with less than 250,000 followers. And I'm trying to soak it in because after today I'm gonna keep saying it like that. So 250, we're hitting 250,000 followers, and
yeah,
a quarter thousand is, that's big, and
that's a
I
lot.
don't know how it's gonna change us. So enjoy this episode while you can, because next week might be different.
Yeah, and I'll
I
tell
might
you for
have
sure.
I might have millions of different shirts next
Yeah,
week. Might have to
I
never worry about repeating a shirt ever again, a day in my life, let
hell
alone
yeah.
a pod.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm already getting a pretty big head. I keep telling everyone I'm famous. I'm getting famous. Don't talk to me. I'm famous. So
Yeah,
make sure to follow us early before it's too late, before the bandwagon rides off into the sunset. But with that being said, we're going to give you a rundown of what happened on Monday Night Raw and AEW Dynamite, and then we're going to give you a preview of Friday Night Smackdown and Rampage. But first, Dylan, give us a rundown of what happened on Monday Night Raw.
absolutely. Just 1 second. I wasn't fully prepared yet. I don't know why. Should have had it up.
It's
Here
all
we
good.
are. All good. Okay, so this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, it gave us I'll say two things that I really enjoyed out of this episode of Raw. One, there was a lot of, I don't know what just happened there. There we go. There was a lot of explanation for what went down last week. Last week was very hectic. Last week was very chaotic, and it left us feeling a bit confused. So there was a lot of explanation on what went down. And there was also some more lead up, more build into Survivor Series before we get the go home Raw next week. So we had Seth Rollins started off, and he was talking about Austin Theory attempting to cash in. The crowd started chanting that was stupid. So I thought that was something to note, because it was stupid. And he did kind of explain it later, which I'll get into, but Seth then announced that it would be him versus Finn Balor for the main event. And then Bobby Lashley came out, kind of talking to Seth. Seth called him. He was like, "Hey, Big Bob, what do you do?" And he just kept calling him Big Bob, and I thought that was funny. And then we had Ali came out right after that. So then we had Ali versus Bobby Lashley, and Lashley won by submission. He put in the Hurt Lock. It was an entertaining match, even though Lashley did mostly dominate. Ali won, sells the hell out of just every single bump, especially bumps from Lashley. Like, Ali is doing Lashley some favors here, because he is making him look insane right now with the bumps he's taking for him. And Ali, I guess that's the main thing. It wasn't a straight up squash match, because Ali just showed a lot of resiliency. So that moved us on to Mia Yim versus Tamina. Mia Yim making her Raw debut, I believe, as not a part of Retribution. So Rhea and Dom came to ringside. They didn't come out to their music or anything. They just kind of walked down during the match. Yim did pick up the win here, and she told Rhea to, come in the ring, come get some. But she doesn't. She doesn't. She's just kind of eyeing up the match. Then they walk away. We also got a clip of Damage Control kind of scouting. They've got some open spots for their team, so we got a backstage clip of them looking at this match. Then we got a nice Riddle versus Gable match, and this was honestly really entertaining match. Really, really entertaining match. Really fun. There was an insane German Gable suplex, German suplexed Riddle off the top rope. That was pretty sick. And Gable got the win here on a roll up. He had his feet on the ropes, but he still got the win here, and that's 2 wins in a row for
Much
the
needed.
Yeah, that's 2 wins in a row for the Alpha Academy, with Otis picking up the victory last week. So that's 2 wins in a row for the Alpha Academy. And this was, like I said, it was a really good match. Like, it was a very entertaining match for TV. They gave them like a proper 15 minutes, super fast paced, just going back and forth, lots of technical stuff. Obviously, you would think between these two with their backgrounds, and it was just a really, really good match. We had a Miz TV segment, and it was called The Apology. It was hosted by Byron's. It was a special edition of Miz TV, hosted by Byron Saxton, with The Miz as the guest. And the Byron Saxton didn't do much talking. It was mainly just The Miz like telling Byron Saxton to shut up and then talking. And it was called like The Apology or whatever. And then Gargano came out, and Gargano basically announced that it was going to be Dexter Loomis versus The Miz at Survivor Series, and if Loomis wins, he gets a contract. Then we had an Austin Theory backstage interview, and this was the first time we got Austin Theory addressing the WWE Universe since his failed cash in on the United States champion Seth Rollins last week on Raw. So I will say this. I think this episode of Monday Night, and it'll continue, but it starts here. I think this episode of Monday Night Raw was the best Theory has looked in months. Like months, I'm telling you. And it's like, maybe it was kind of right. Like, maybe that like he said, that briefcase, he kind of felt like it was just like an anchor at this point. He just wanted to cash it in. Like, he just was and
Yeah, and so really quick, I watched the promo and it was incredible, really good stuff from Theory, and everyone online agreed. And like we talked about before, there was a good explanation for why he cashed in
yeah,
on the US
exactly.
title.
Great explanation. He specifically said, he said Roman Reigns has been basically unstoppable. He's tried to cash in on Roman Reigns multiple times, and he is Brock Lesnar was there to ruin it. Tyson Fury was there to ruin it. And even if they didn't ruin it, Roman Reigns always had the bloodline by his side. Like, that's really what it came down to. And he's only gotten more dominant in this run. So he said, what's the next best thing? Cash in on the United States Championship on. And the way he explained it too was good. And he was like, and I wanted to take it from Seth Rollins, one of the biggest stars in this company. He was like, that's the way he worded it. He was like cashing in on the US title that is currently held by one of the biggest stars in this business. Like, that's how I felt like I had to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's interesting because last week we were talking about how much they buried him when he tried to cash in and failed, but then we both were like in agreement that we were going to wait and see how it all plays out. Like, we don't want to judge it too early, but we were questioning why. And this is a reason why to not
Yeah.
like fully judge things too early, because you have to watch and see it, how it's all going to
Yeah.
unfold. And that's something we talked about before too. Even when Liv Morgan lost, we were talking about initially, like, we're upset, which is okay to have an initial reaction, but like, just don't overreact to something that's very raw and very new, and you have to wait and see how everything plays out to make a final judgment. And we saw a great example of that with Theory.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I said, and it continues throughout the rest of this episode, but so then we had Ziggler came out, and it was really nice to see Dolph Ziggler. Haven't seen Dolph Ziggler on TV in a while. Had a nice little back and forth with Austin Theory. And like I said, like, again, not only with what Austin Theory said, his delivery of the words, like his cadence, his deliberance in what he said, it was it was a really strong promo from Theory, and I really do. And another big thing, Corey Graves made a note of this too. He didn't have he wasn't carrying around the cell phone all night, so I think he's kind of ditched that thing, which is definitely good.
Yeah.
Um, and he just he was just so he was just mad, and he was just aggressive, and his explanation was it was he made sense of everybody saying that I'm getting handouts, and I'm tired of everybody saying I'm getting handouts. I'm really fucking good, and I want to show everyone why I'm really fucking good, and I'm pissed off that everyone doesn't think I'm good. That's really what it was. He was like, I'm pissed off that I've become a joke,
Yeah.
and it was really cool.
And one
So
thing I also liked too, really quick, was his when he was cutting the promo, he was just like, "I'm tired of being the next this, the next that. I'm the
yeah,
now,"
yeah,
which I thought was really cool.
yeah. So that was another thing. He was like, I'm tired of being the youngest Mr. Money in the Bank. I just want to be now. I'm just tired of all this stuff. So I thought that was good, and then it set up Theory versus Ziggler later in the night. The next match we got was Io Sky versus Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke was looking for revenge for Nikki Cross and Damage Control taking the 24/7 title last week, and then subsequently throwing it in the garbage, retiring the title. And Io looked pretty good here. She's just amazing in the ring. She might be the best in Damage Control when it comes to in-ring just technician. All three amazing, but Io's just really incredible. They call her the genius of the sky for a reason, and she hit the over the moonsault, and she did get the clean win. There was no interference from Damage Control, no interference from
That's
Nikki. It was a
that's
clean
something
win.
rare that
Yeah,
happens these days in professional wrestling.
especially for a heel. So it was nice to get to see her get a clean win. And then Mia Yim came out and she let Bailey know. Oh, sorry. Earlier in the night, they approached Mia Yim and were like, "Hey, come join our team." Sorry. And she basically said that she was still trying to find her footing, whatever. And then she came out after this match, said, "I'm here to let you know I will be competing, but it won't be for your team." And then Team Bianca comes out. Team Bianca has one spot left. The fourth member is Mia Yim. So Mia Yim joins that squad. And then we had Dolph versus Theory. One thing I wanted to make note of was they were both wearing camo tights. And it's not a thing they do. I think it's just they both happen to have a pair of camo tights in their arsenal and they just both happen to wear them.
Yeah.
I'd like a little more coordination from the superstars moving forward. It was weird. Camo, I'm just saying, specifically having all camo tight, that's especially for these two guys, we know that that's
I think it's more of Dolph's thing to wear camo. I think it's more of a shock that Theory pulled up in camo biker shorts. I've never seen Theory wear camo.
yeah, totally. But I don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if Dolph can claim the thing of wearing camo.
I mean, recently, I feel like every
He's
time I've
done it,
seen
but
him
I don't.
wrestle.
Yeah, he's definitely done it before and more. I would just like some coordination. Maybe it was Theory saying "fuck you," I don't care. I don't know, but
Yeah.
like I said, it was just funny that I was just like, why are they both wearing camouflage right now? It's not like they were both wearing red. They were both wearing camouflage. Um, but this was a really entertaining match. Theory looked so aggressive here, dude. Really just better than he's looked in and it's not that he's looked bad in the ring ever. It's just with his body language and stuff is and his delivery of the moves just looked really good. It went back and forth for a while. And then eventually Theory hit the A-Town down and then looked at him, was going to go for a pin, then picked him up, hit him with another A-Town down, looked at him, was going to go for a pin, and then just decided to unleash all his rage into Dolph Ziggler. It was technically, I guess, a disqualification by Theory because Theory just decided instead of going for the pin, he was just going to absolutely destroy Dolph Ziggler, and he looked good. He looked good, dude. This was a really good segment. I enjoyed it. Um, And it makes so much sense why he's so mad. He should be mad. He was literally embarrassed. Like, we literally said that it was an all-time burial on all levels last week.
Yeah.
He should be embarrassed. He should be pissed off. So it's good to see. After that match, we had a little backstage segment before the main event, and Rhea goes up to Damage Control, and she basically just says, "Listen, you don't even need to say anything. If Mia's on their team, I'm on your team." So Rhea Ripley joins Team Damage Control, and she is the 5th and final member. Team Damage Control will be Damage Control, Bailey, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and then joining them will be Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. And then we have one spot open, and it's seemingly, I feel like it's gonna have to go to Candice, right? Like, it's almost
I got a funny feeling it's gonna be Tegan Knox.
okay.
And that it will be my official prediction because I've been saying it for the past week or so. It just makes too much sense. Like Candice LeRae's the obvious choice and probably the favored choice, and I wouldn't be at all surprised. I'm expecting it to be Candice LeRae, but I'm not because I think it will be Tegan Knox.
Okay, that would be dope. Either way, looks like those teams are close to full. Anyway, that brought us to the main event: Finn versus Seth. What a fire match, dude! I mean, two of the best in the
That
business in the main event for the United States Championship. Just simply amazing. Just simply amazing. Toward the end of the match, Judgment Day came out, and then the OC came out. Nobody ended up interfering. It was just kind of chaos going on. And like kind of just like distractions, like looking around, but nobody ended up interfering or anything like that. And Finn picked up a loss here. I don't know. I accidentally said the wrong name, but I was gonna say Seth picked up a win, but I started with Finn, so I had to end it with a loss because he did lose and Seth won. Seth won, retaining his title here. And after the match, Theory came out. A furious Austin Theory came out to attack Seth Rollins. And he's furious, man. Austin Theory is furious. And it's going to be really interesting. We also got AJ Styles versus Finn Balor set up for Survivor Series
yeah.
on this episode of Raw.
Do you think they're gonna do Theory versus Lashley versus Seth at Survivor Series?
I like it. I just kind of want, dude, I want Ali to be in there too, but I feel like with him losing, they might have kind
He's
of.
not. He's done with the U.S. title picture.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a fatal 4-way would be sick.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it'll happen.
I don't think it'll happen either, but he will, like. I will say this week they did do the thing like Bobby Lashley was like, "Listen, man, like I don't know," like he was yelling at Ali and he was like, "I don't know if you're just stupid or you just got a lot of balls, but like if you want a match, you got a match. Let's go."
Word.
So like that's what led to their match on Monday. Like I said, he looked completely resilient. It wouldn't at all shock me if he was out of the storyline now. But like I said, with the way that they're kind of building his resilience, it wouldn't shock me if he was still going to be involved a little bit, or maybe if he became involved in the finish. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
huge
we'll see.
Mustafa Ali fans.
And Mustafa Ali never got his match. He still never got his U.S. title match that he was promised.
Yeah. So maybe they will do it.
Yeah.
That'd be
Like I
sick.
said, but yeah, they might do it, but who knows with his loss to Bobby on Monday, but yeah, it definitely looks like they're at least going to be building toward a triple threat, I would say, at Survivor Series, which is going to be awesome. We've been talking about it for a while. We haven't gotten a proper triple threat feud or fatal 4-way feud or anything like that in a while, so
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how these next 2 weeks unfold for WWE with Survivor Series quickly approaching. Is that everything that happened on Raw?
yeah, that's it. That's Raw.
Hell yeah. All right, so let's dive into some AEW Dynamite. This was the go home Dynamite for before Full Gear, and there was a good amount of stuff that was happening and that was on the line. So first up, we got a preview of the match at Full Gear, which is a fatal four-way for the ROH World title. But before that, Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli teamed up to take on the ROH World Champion Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Classic Blackpool Combat Club versus Jericho Appreciation Society. Quickly, as much as I love these two groups, let's just stop having them feud for a little bit, please, because they've been feuding for like a very long time, and it's starting to get old. But that being said, this was a great tag team match. There was a bunch of really good spots, and it's the Claudio got the win for the Blackpool Combat Club. A huge win, definitely giving them momentum heading into Full Gear. But that match is going to be interesting because two members of two teams have to coexist. So it's going to be interesting to see if Danielson and Claudio sort of work together or if they turn on each other, and what's going to happen with Jericho and Sammy in that match. Following that, we had one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Anthony Bowens, taking on Swerve Strickland, one half of Swerve in Our Glory. And they debuted their new music video, A Hand for a Hand, just like every music video with Max Caster, extremely entertaining, taking constant shots at a Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. Overall, this was a pretty good match. Swerve came out on top, which I thought was interesting. Swerve's been racking up some wins. He's definitely an underrated and underappreciated talent on AEW. Swerve is an outstanding wrestler. And so hopefully he will get a good singles run here. But that's going to be a great match heading into Full Gear. Following that, Tony Schiavone interviewed the ROH World Television Champion, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe spit some facts. He came crazy. Joe turned on Wardlow last week. Samoa Joe is now a heel. And Samoa Joe is just awesome. I would say I sort of separate my wrestling fandom into two phases. So, like, the first phase is whenever I first started to a certain age. And then once you sort of mature and realize that, like, how wrestling works, that's sort of when I think about my second phase. So Samoa Joe has been one of my favorites for a while. Ever since really he was in NXT, I wasn't
Yeah,
able to watch him
you
in
have been a
ROH or
big
anything.
Samoa
Like,
Joe guy.
yeah. And let's get him on TV more, please.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe's awesome. Powerhouse Hobbs came out, interrupted him. He was like, I don't know who you think you are. I've been kicking Wardlow's ass for weeks. And then the two were about to get into it. Samoa Joe not backing down, telling him, let's get in the ring. Let's fight, big guy. And then Wardlow's music hit. He entered through the crowd. He attacked Samoa Joe. Powerhouse Hobbs came in, and then it was pure chaos, and thus setting up a triple threat match at Full Gear for the TNT Championship. That's going to be a good one. Talk about some meat on meat. That one is going to be amazing. Following that, we had probably the most anticipated match of the night, at least in my opinion. It was Death Triangle defending their AEW World Trios Championship match against AR Fox and Top Flight. Darius Martin making his highly anticipated return. Top Flight, one of the best young tag teams in all of professional wrestling. They're, I think, like 22 and 23 years old. It's really remarkable how young they are and how much skill they have at such a young age. Just like any AEW Trios match, this match was a banger. But obviously, Death Triangle weren't about to lose their championships. Following the match, they cut a really good promo. And I thought this was interesting because Pac grabbed the mic. First off, Pac, also amazing. And I say it every time I mention his name. Top 5 wrestler on the planet. Argue with your mom about it. It's the facts. Pac grabbed the mic. He cut a really good promo. He said, don't think we haven't heard all of the whispers, seen all the rumors, haven't seen the video packages. And then he basically called out the Elite without mentioning them, which was super sick. He was like, so if you want a match, we're not backing down. Come get it. And then a video played on the Jumbotron, and I thought the video was really weird. But basically, it was a clock striking midnight, which they've been doing video packages for the Elite returning over the past 2 or 3 weeks. And those have been entertaining, but this one was weird because it was the clock to midnight, and then they had the graphic death triangle, and then there was nothing on the other side, and then the Elite just like appeared on it. I just thought it was weird because I would have liked to see the Elite come out and accept the challenge. So that was a bit off and
Yeah,
odd
I
to
didn't.
me.
I thought that was weird too. Like I said, I watched that trios match too. By the way, that match was fucking awesome. Let me
Yeah,
say, like all those
they always
guys.
put on good trios matches.
Yeah, but like like we need more AR Fox on TV, dude. Like AR Fox is awesome. Like
Yeah.
he's
Well, there's
um
some interesting news regarding him that I'll get into in the news segment.
all right,
But
awesome,
yeah,
but he is like he's just got this like real he's so talented, but he's got a really like nonchalant like swag about him that I just very much like. I don't know.
yeah,
He's cool. I
yeah,
like him a lot. I really like him.
yeah. He's been wrestling for 15 years, hitting
Yeah,
the indie circuit pretty much, and you can obviously tell he's got a lot of talent.
and the
Following
crowd
that,
loves him.
yeah, the crowd was big on him, and that was his hometown crowd. He grew up, I think they said 15 miles away from where they were holding Dynamite. But
Mhm.
following that match, they were backstage. Um, Ricky Starks addressed Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk monster. Um, Lance Archer was supposed to face Ricky Starks last week on Rampage, but he attacked him backstage, and they were supposed to have a match for the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament. But that match is going to now be happening on Rampage this Friday night, and we'll get into the preview of Rampage in a little bit. But following that match was the other match for the men's world title eliminator tournament. This was the semifinals on the other half of the bracket. It was Ethan Page taking on Bandito. Bandito is officially all elite as of a week or two ago. And Bandito's awesome. I mean, just watch his match with Chris Jericho. He's awesome. This match was awesome. The crowd obviously loves Bandito, but the right man won. Ethan Page came out on top, thus sending him to the finals of the tournament. And I actually predicted this entire tournament a week or two ago on our TikTok. So make sure to follow our TikTok because I'm about to predict the entire tournament right, which is pretty sweet. Following that was the AEW Interim Women's World Championship Eliminator match. This match is one that AEW likes to do. It is a non-title match, but if the challenger wins, they will earn a future opportunity for the title. They rarely do. I think it's only ever happened once. But this was your champion, Tony Storm, taking on Anna JAS. And um, the match was fine. The crowd was dead for this for some reason. Tony Storm's taking on Jamie Hayter at Full Gear on Saturday. So a loss to Storm would have been detrimental to her momentum. But Tony Storm came out on top. Jamie Hayter's music hit. She came out. They didn't get physical. They just stared at each other, which I thought was nice. And it definitely helped build the hype for the match on Saturday, which already has a lot of hype to it. Following that was an interesting promo from John Moxley. John Moxley entered the ring, basically said, "I'm the AEW World Champion," and he just like went on to say like all of his everything he's done for AEW. He's the best pro wrestler on the earth. He's taken on any and every challenger, and he has defined what the AEW World Championship means. Um, Definitely more of a heel-ish promo from Moxley during this. MJF came out, or actually before that, the Firm came out and attacked Moxley, and they held back William Regal, and they just beat the shit out of Moxley. MJF came out to the rescue, easily handled all of the Firm, which I'll get into what I think about that later. But so then MJF took out the Firm, went into the ring, and then was talking about why he didn't save Moxley because he likes him. He wanted to do it, so there's no excuses for when he wins on at Full Gear when he wins the AEW World Championship. And I thought it was super. The best part of this was Regal was just like standing over Moxley, who was laying on in the ring on the ground, but he like had his brass knuckles on and he was
Oh
like
yeah, he
ready
was
to
like
fucking
ready to.
rock MJF. Um, and that was sweet. But the promo, it definitely wasn't Moxley's best work. You can tell he just messed up a few words with words, which is fine. That stuff just happens. He hilariously forgot what day Full Gear was on. He was like,
Yeah.
I'll see you at Full Gear on Sunday. And then he just like paused. He's just like, is it Sunday or Saturday? And then MJF was just like, Saturday. He's like, I'll see you on Saturday at Full Gear. Definitely
Yeah,
one
that
of
was funny.
it was definitely a sloppy promo, but it was still pretty damn entertaining nonetheless. Thus building up the hype for the AEW World Championship match. And it definitely ended a bit odd too. After MJF went off, um, Mox said, I never really saw what the big deal was with you anyway. And then he sort of just like tossed the mic at him. He like walked past him like he was about to leave, but then turned back around and then the two just had a face off and then
I think
they
Moxley
left.
probably forgot they were supposed to do that.
Yeah.
That's probably what
Definitely
happened.
definitely a sloppy promo, but it definitely didn't like make it shitty or anything. I
Wasn't
just thought it was
sloppy
pretty
from MJF
entertaining.
though.
Yeah, MJF killed it like he does in literally every and any single
Bro, dude,
promo that he's
he's
ever
just
had.
like literally like he's
He's
so
unreal.
dude, he's
He's
so
unreal.
fucking good. Like it's just at the point where it's just like every word he says is like so like he's just like, you better get the hell out of here before I firmly shove my foot up your ass. Like, he said that shit to the firm, and I was just like,
and
what a great just one liner to just have. To just like,
and he had another really good line. He said like um you can make me bleed buckets, you can snap and tear every ligament in my body, but I will not stop because I need that belt more than I need oxygen.
yeah,
And
he
then it
was like,
was
more than I
really
need
sick.
food, more than I need water, and more than I need oxygen.
Yeah, it was sweet. And I'm pumped for Full Gear. We'll get into our
Bro,
Full
like,
Gear
just,
predictions in a
yeah.
little bit, but Full Gear is gonna be awesome. Um, we'll get into more of that in a little bit, but taking a look at Rampage. Rampage is going to be live on Friday night. They usually record it when they do Dynamite, but this time it's going to be live on Friday night.
At the
And
Prudential
so,
Center.
yes. And so the match card is as follows. You have Eddie Kingston and Ortiz taking on Jun Akima and Konosku Takeshita. Sorry, I know I probably mispronounced those names. That match is going to be a sleeper of a match. It's going to be pretty good. Athena's taking on Madison Rain. You have Hook taking on Lee Moriarty for the FTW Championship. And then, like I said, you have Lance Archer taking on Ricky Starks. I'm not quite sure what they're doing with that because Brian Cage won his match, so they're on one side. Brian Cage is supposed to face the winner of Lance Archer and Ricky Starks. But the finals is taking place at Full Gear, so I don't know when they're going to do that semifinals match. Maybe in the kickoff show, or the 0 hour as they're now calling it for Full Gear. But it'll be interesting to see when that happens. Dillon, why don't you give us a little preview of Friday Night SmackDown?
Yeah, so Friday Night SmackDown, we've got some Friday Night SmackDown World Cup first round matches coming up. Are these the first matches of the World Cup? Do you know?
No, they
They're
Braun
the second
Strowman.
one, right?
Yeah, Braun Strowman came out on top, and um
Was Braun, I guess, representing US?
yeah, and then why can I not think of his name? But the leader of Legado del Fantasma beat Shinsuke. Um,
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Escobar.
Escobar,
Escobar.
yeah. Um,
Great match, by the way.
yeah. Anyway, we have a couple first round matches of the SmackDown World Cup. We have Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali, and then
Gonna
we
be a
also
banger, dude. That match is gonna be so good.
so good, like an absolute banger.
Like I cannot stress it enough to you guys. I want you everyone turn the volume up and really listen closely. Watch Mustafa Ali versus Ricochet. It could be match of the year. And that's
And it's
like,
gonna
I'm not
be.
joking. It could be
I'm
match of the
sure,
year.
dude. They're gonna just go insane. Those two guys are insane, dude, and they
Yeah.
just love putting on good. Like, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Then we also have Sami Zayn taking on Butch, in another first round match.
Another really good match.
Yeah, Sami Zayn taking on Butch, should be another really good match. I do want to say this. Um, Sami Zayn has to win the World Cup, right? And then carry it around like a title in the
Yeah,
bloodline.
for sure.
That's for sure happening.
I mean, yeah.
That's my predict, dude. Him carrying around the trophy like that's his title would just be so fucking funny. I and
I mean,
have
he
you
needs to win something because he's
and
the
have
only
you seen
one.
the yeah, that's have you seen the trophy?
I have.
It's ridiculous. It
It's pretty
looks like a
big.
toy.
Yeah.
That's why I just think it would be so funny him carrying around this like toy of a trophy.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, and then we also have Shayna.
Didn't they say, doesn't the winner of this tournament get an IC title shot, I believe?
Probably.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I know the
Yeah,
winner receives something. I'm, like, fairly confident it
I'm
is
pretty
an
sure it's that.
opportunity. But go on.
And then we also have Shayna Baszler taking on Shotzi.
Nice.
That's happening on Friday Night SmackDown. Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey kind of seems that they're teaming up a little bit or coexisting at least. Whatever's going on over there, they're
Best
buddies.
buds.
They're buddies.
I mean,
Um,
I
so
I I know we gave WWE a lot of shit for making Ronda the SmackDown Women's Champion. I still would have liked to see her and Shayna go after the tag titles.
yeah,
Um,
still would be awesome.
I
Maybe
think it
Mania.
still can happen. I think it would definitely do a lot for the tag titles.
Oh my god, it would do so much. It
Them
would
just
be
walking around
awesome.
bullying everybody, just beating the
Yeah,
shit
dude,
out of everyone.
it would
Come
be
on,
sick.
come on.
Truly sick.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's your SmackDown preview.
there you go. All right, and then we're going to get into the news of the week before we get into the full gear predictions. So stick around if you want to hear our full gear predictions. But before that, let's get into the news of the week. All right. Sorry for that awkward transition. I was just literally having internet issues at the worst possible time. But to get into the news of the week, there was a lot of things that that went down. The Usos are officially the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions of all time. By the time you are listening to this, they have held the titles for 488 days. Now, the thing that is interesting about this is that there's a bit of controversy that a lot of people might not know or be aware of because NXT UK Tag Team Gallus held the UK tag titles for 497 days, although their reign was during COVID and NXT UK shut down for a full year. Regardless, the Usos are going to easily surpass that. Following that, WWE offered Stone Cold Steve Austin another match according to Fightful. Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Um, who do you think let's say he wrestles at WrestleMania. Give me a quick brief opponent. Who would you like to see him face?
Randy. I mean, Randy's a big one for me. Seth would be really cool.
I know who he has to face.
Give me a second. Let me see if I can think of who it is.
To me, it's very obvious. He should face John Cena. Let's be real here. He's got to
Oh,
face Cena.
that's what you're saying?
Yeah, he's got to face Cena.
Okay, I could see that.
I mean, Cena's set to appear. He's reportedly he's going to have a match at WrestleMania next year, and I think it just
Yeah.
makes much sense. Stone Cold's been training. He's been sharing some videos of him training, so I would definitely love to see Stone Cold get another match. And again, that was reported by Fightful. WWE offered Stone Cold Steve Austin another match. Heading over to some New Japan news. New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestler Jonah, formerly known as Bronson Reed, was offered a contract by WWE, according to Wrestling Observer newsletter. It's basically they said that it's going to be up to him if he wants to go to WWE or stay in New Japan. I think this would be a big get for Jonah or for WWE if Jonah goes to there. Imagine Jonah taking this dude. Come on now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Need it.
that's a match that I was discussing for a possible WWE New Japan collaborative pay-per-view / premium live event. Another report by Wrestling Observer newsletter is that Chelsea Green is rumored to return to WWE. Triple H has said that he wants to give the women's division sort of a refresh. And her contract with Impact Wrestling is up. I think this would be a huge get for WWE because they really screwed her over last year when they called her up and then they just like sort of immediately released her. Do you think WWE should bring back Chelsea Green?
Absolutely. And I think that the women's division, I think right now I think that's what we're in the middle of. I think is we're in the middle of kind of um, a refresh into in this women's division. I think you're gonna realize because the leaders of this women's division over the last few years have been Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bailey. It's really been the four horsewomen. Like it's really been the
Yeah.
four horsewomen, and I think and Charlotte, and we'll see what happens with Sasha, but Charlotte, Becky, Bailey. I still think they're obviously still going to be there, and they're going to be, but they've almost moved into more of this in a higher up role, almost comparative to like Randy Orton and Cena and stuff like that when they had hit that point when you had guys like Seth and Rollins, Seth and Roman and Ambrose and whatever during this past run the last 10 years or so. And I think you're really starting to you're going to see like the face of the women's division currently obviously is Bianca Belair, but you're going to start to see like I really think the heart of the women's division moving forward over the next few years is really going to be like Rhea, um, Rhea, Io, and Dakota. I think are going to be big. Candice, I think, is going to play a major role. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, and they definitely have a lot of talented women's wrestlers already. We just saw Emma debut and immediately get a SmackDown Women's Championship match against Ronda Rousey. So it is nice. That's partially why I think they're going to have Tegan Knox come in at War Games because I think they are just trying to bring in some fresh blood and really shake up this women's division, give it a nice refresh because there are a lot of talented women's wrestlers and especially in WWE, but outside of them, there are as well. And it'll just be nice to see them in WWE getting some mainstream media exposure. Following that, AR Fox was offered an AEW contract following his match on Dynamite. So I don't think there's any word on if he officially accepted it yet, but he's going to accept it. So AR Fox is pretty much all elite, a great get for AEW, and we were just praising
Absolutely.
him not too long ago. Kevin Owens suffered an MCL sprain at a house show just a few days ago. His knee sort of buckled, and he was originally supposed to be a part of the War Games match, but he won't because he's going to be out for, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks. So it's going to be interesting to see who they get as a fifth member for the Brawling Brutes. I have a pretty good guess, but we'll get into that once we give our predictions for that. And then lastly, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, the salt of the earth. He got casted in The Iron Claw as Lance Von Erich. The Iron Claw is a movie about the Von Erich family from the 1960s to present day. It's starring Zac Efron, and it's great to see MJF get a pretty big role in a movie. It's going to be good for him, and it's going to be really good for AEW, especially if MJF is the world champion heading into that stuff. So that has been your news reports of the week. And like I said earlier, the best way to get this stuff hot off the press is to make sure to follow us on all of our social media. That is at The Burnt Hammer. Definitely make sure to do that. Now, Dillon, let's get into it. Let's get into some full gear predictions. I have some possibly hot takes. Dillon just published an article, 5 things that need to happen at Full Gear. So make sure to head over to vendettasportsmedia.com to go ahead and read that. But I'm going to need you guys to bear with us. This is probably going to be a longer episode of the pod. There are 11 matches. That's right. 11 matches on this Full Gear card. I don't know why AEW likes to do this many matches. It's definitely one of their big problems with the company currently. But that's a story for a on who? It's gonna be Ricky Starks. Let's be honest here. So, Dill, who do you have coming out on top?
I think Ricky Starks is going to win on Rampage, and then I think he's going to win on Saturday.
I agree. I'm also taking Ricky Starks, and I wrote it in an article a while ago, but just think about the promos between Ricky Starks and who we think is going to win the AEW World Championship, which we'll get into later, but it's going to be
Oh, let
pretty
me say
gnarly.
let's say this real quick. Also, for the first time in our predictions, we are officially competing for the championship belt.
Look at that.
The Burning
Hell yeah.
Hammer Predictions Championship belt. This thing is sick. And it is
10 pounds of solid gold, baby.
This thing is sick. It is legit.
An actual
And
belt.
It is an actual belt. And it is not awarded to anyone right now, as the first champion will be crowned following the Full Gear Predictions. And then it will be immediately defended next week for the Survivor Series predictions. So that will be fun.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. We're officially battling.
Yeah, but we're both taking Ricky Starks.
Yes. And I'll say this. We usually have very similar predictions, maybe one or two different outcomes, but I think this card,
I think we're going to have a lot.
I think we have a decent amount of differences. But like Dillon said, we're both taking Ricky Starks. If it's not Ricky Starks in the finals, then obviously it's going to be Ethan Page, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I just put that on record.
Yeah. We both think it's Page if he's not going against Starks. But if it's Starks, then Starks.
Yes. All right. So then following that, the match that I don't really care too much about, it is Sting and Darby Allin taking on Jay Lethal and Jeff JARRETT Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett recently appeared and debuted in AEW. Delivered a hell of a chair shot to poor Darby Allin, guitar shot to the dome. Absolutely brained Darby Allin. And then Darby Allin called upon Sting. Sting and Jeff Jarrett have faced each other countless times in WCW and TNA over the past 20-something years. I have some good stuff that I think is going to happen in this match, but Dillon, who do you think is coming out on top?
So originally, I said Sting and Darby, but I changed my mind. I'm going Lethal and Jarrett.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm also taking Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, and I think it is solely going to be because Sting is finally going to turn on Darby Allin. I think we're due for it. I think it should have happened a long time ago, and I think the fact that Darby Allin wanted to sort of have Sting not be with him for the past month or so is going to tick Sting off. And so I think Sting's going to turn on Darby Allin and ultimately cost him the match. So there you have it. Me and Dillon are both taking Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett to come out on top. Following that, highly anticipated in-ring return of Saraya as she takes on the face of the women's division in AEW, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Dillon, who do you have coming out on top?
I think I want to change my mind again. Yesterday I said Soraya. But I think I'm gonna go Britt Baker.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go Britt Baker. I just think whatever. I'll swallow my words if I'm wrong, but I think it makes sense for Britt Baker to be like. I don't think it makes sense for her to lose to somebody who hasn't wrestled in 2.5 years.
Yeah. And I'll say this. I originally, once I saw the match, I was in favor of Britt Baker, but then the more I was watching it, watching everything unfold, and the more I was thinking about it, I just can't see them having Soraya lose in her in-ring return. So I'm taking Soraya.
Okay.
I'll also say this. I may have a slight advantage because I do betting odds for all of the professional wrestling events. Yes, you can bet on professional wrestling. I don't know how or why, but you can do it. Again, check out vendettasportsmedia.com to read the betting odds for Full Gear. So I sort of know where the house is in terms of the odds, and the numbers were a bit shocking for this match. So I may have a
Okay.
slight advantage, but that's something to keep in mind. Um, Next up, we have Jungle Boy taking on Luchasaurus in a steel cage match. Former friends turns bitter rivals after Christian Cage turned on them. These two get to meet again inside the four walls of steel, a steel cage match. Um, I'm taking Jungle Boy. I can't. It's hard to believe that they're still keeping this going, and I think they're just trying to do it until keep this feud alive until Christian Cage returns. But I think he's going to be out for like a long time. And after Jungle Boy lost to Luchasaurus at All Out, I think a loss here would really set him back. So I think Jungle Boy is going to win, thus temporarily ending the feud between him and Luchasaurus. Hopefully, Jungle Boy, a really good young talent for AEW, so it'd be nice to see him move on from this feud and put on some really good matches against some top talent in AEW. Dillon, who do you have coming out on top?
Yeah, I'm literally changing my mind completely from yesterday. I'm going with Jungle Boy. Um,
Word.
Yesterday I had Luchasaurus. I don't know why. I thought like my
It's not a
predict. I
bad. I
get
wouldn't be surprised if he
no.
wins.
All right, yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised either. But I just meant like my predictions are just like swapping complete from the article basically. And it's mainly I think just after watching Dynamite. Um,
Yeah,
but
and that being said, if you want to hear more about my predictions and Dylan's predictions, go ahead and head over to vendettasportsmedia.com. We do staff predictions for it, and it will be published by the time this is published. So definitely go over and check that out if you want some more detail about all of the matches and a preview of what to expect and sort of how we got to those matches for every single match on the Full Gear card. So Dylan's taking Jungle Boy. I'm taking Jungle Boy.
I wanted to mention this too. I really like that that Jungle Boy is now going by Jungle Boy Jack Perry instead
Yeah,
of like
for
just
sure.
Jungle Boy. Um, because it's just like Jungle Boy is like a little, you know what I mean? It's a little kiddish. It's
Yeah,
like
for sure.
you're just like who are you? You're the Jungle Boy, but like who, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, and
Jungle
I
Boy
think
Jack Perry I think works. It sounds good still, like so.
yeah, and I would prefer it even if they just started calling him Jack Perry because I feel like this is him like sort of evolving as a professional wrestler. Like before he was
Absolutely.
like a boy, but now he's sort of transitioning into a man and everyone's just calling him Jack Perry. So it's definitely something that I think needs should be done like permanently. All right. Following that, we have the return of the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks taking on Death Triangle for the AEW Trios Championship. This match is going to slap. This is going to be a really good match. I'm super excited for it. Obviously, the Elites, I think the Elite are going to win. They're going to win back the titles that they technically never lost. They had to vacate because everything that happened after the All Out press conference. The Elite are going to win. They're going to win cleanly. And this match is going to rule. Dillon, who do you think's coming out on top?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Elite as well, but I really wouldn't be surprised if they swerved us and kept them on Death Triangle. So I think everybody's expecting the Elite to come out on top here, and I think they could keep this feud going. Um, but like I said,
Sure.
I do think it is going to be the Elite. But like I said, I'm not as confident as I thought I was.
Yeah. And I want this, it's not an official prediction, but I think there's a chance that Pac turns on the Lucha Bros following their loss. Because in case you don't pay attention or haven't been keeping up with AEW as of late, Pac has been cheating to win. He's using the ring bell hammer to beat all of his opponents. And he wants the Lucha Bros to do it, but they're not doing it. And they're saying they don't need to win that way. They don't want to win that way. Um, and so they've been sort of disagreeing with that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pac turns on them. It's not my official prediction, but um, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Regardless, I said it. This is going to be a really good match. Definitely a must watch on the card. Do not use the bathroom during this match. Following that one, another really good match is Samoa Joe, the ROH television champion, taking on Powerhouse Hobbs, taking on your TNT champion Wardlow for the TNT championship. This match is going to be awesome. I'm super pumped for this. Just three big dudes who know how to wrestle. They're going to throw each other around. Powerhouse Hobbs is awesome. I think he is pretty underrated in AEW. Like I said earlier, Samoa Joe, highly underrated, highly underappreciated, and highly underused in AEW. Who do you think is going to come out on top and be the TNT champion following this match?
So I've got Wardlow sticking with the title here. Um, I really think Wardlow is one of the like best young stars that AEW has, and I really think like sticking the like, keeping him with the title here and have letting him have a long dominant run, and he's been on a pretty long dominant run, but I don't think it needs to end now. I think it needs to keep going.
I think I'm taking Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse
Okay.
Hobbs is someone who I predicted to be the next TNT champion. Regardless if he doesn't win tonight, I still think he's going to be the next TNT champion. Again, that's a TikTok I put out. So make sure to follow the TikTok. I predicted the next champion for every AEW titles. I'm taking Powerhouse Hobbs, and I just think the time is now to put the belt on Hobbs. And there's another reason that I'll get into a bit later for why I think Wardlow's going to drop the title. But yeah, I think Powerhouse Hobbs is going to walk out of the Full Gear as the TNT champion. But it would be pretty sick. I don't think there's a great chance that Samoa Joe wins, but imagine him as the ROH television champion and the TNT champion. That would be
Oh, that
sick.
would be sick.
Um, Also, I just wanted to say too that Wardlow has done an amazing job at bringing back some prestige that was lost for the TNT Championship. Once it just like played hot potato with Sammy Guevara and Scorpio Sky and even Cody a little bit. It's definitely lost its prestige and it's lost its touch and meaning. And I think Wardlow has brought back all of that stuff to the TNT Championship. So it'll definitely be interesting to see who walks out on top of that. Following that, the TBS championship match. It's your champion, Jade Cargill, undefeated, taking on Nyla Rose. Um, I know. Who do you think's coming out on top?
Cargo.
Okay. This is where we disagree,
Yeah.
which is fine. I think I'm not proud of it. I don't feel great about it. but I do think that Nyla Rose is going to walk out as TBS champion. Um, and for the reason because it's just like Jade has beat everybody, like literally everybody for the TBS championship. Um, I think she has only one singles match against Rose, and it was last year, and it wasn't for the TBS championship, so she hasn't technically beaten Rose for the TBS title. Cargill's like 50-0, but I just think like there's no one left. If she beats Rose, who's gonna dethrone Cargill?
For me, I'm just like I'm not sure who's gonna dethrone Cargill. I just don't think it's Nyla Rose. I don't think there's like Cargill does need to lose at some point, but it's like it's almost kind of like I think we're just getting like the longer it goes on, I think the less annoying it will be that she hasn't lost, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think they're also just waiting for her to get a little better in ring because I think once she drops the TBS title, she's going to immediately go for the women's world title.
Yeah. Um it's gonna be interesting. I'm not sure who's gonna be. I just feel like Nyla I just don't feel like Nyla Rose is the person to do it, but
Well, I'll
and
say
I
this.
just think it would kind of I think it would fuck up some of Jade Cargill's like momentum for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Rose is a former women's world champion. Let's not
Yeah.
forget that. And Nyla Rose actually holds the TBS title. She stole it from Jade.
Yeah.
And Nyla Rose is funny, man. I'll tell you.
No, yeah, she's funny.
She is hilarious.
Very funny. Her and Vicky.
Yeah. And so, like I said, I don't feel great about it, but it is my official prediction. I'm taking Nyla Rose. Dylan's taking Jade Cargill. Regardless, I hope this match doesn't go like 4 minutes. Um, I know the last match with Cargill and Athena at All Out, which is when she should have dropped the title.
Yeah,
That
that's
match
the
was like
big
5 minutes.
problem here.
That's when she
That
should
was
have
when
lost the
she should
title.
have lost. So that's
Um,
what's gotten us to this point.
and
But
not only did she not lose, but she beat Athena in like 4 minutes.
yeah.
um, which was bad. But regardless, there's our predictions. Next up, we have the AEW Tag Team Championship match, which is Swerve in Our Glory taking on your champions, the Acclaimed. Um, I'm taking the Acclaimed. I think there's no way that they're taking the belts off of them yet. What about you?
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and my official prediction is that Swerve is finally going to turn on Keith Lee.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think
Word.
there's going to be some tension in Swerve in Our Glory, and then it's going to build to the eventual Keith Lee versus Swerve match, and that's going to be fucking insane.
Yeah, that's going to be a great match. I think this will be a good match as well. And I think the Acclaimed are going to easily come out on top because we had that interesting face off between them and FTR, I think about 2 weeks ago. So that definitely looks like they were planting some seeds, long term booking, as the kids say online.
Hmm.
So following that match, we have the ROH World Championship match. It's Brian Danielson taking on Claudio Castagnoli, taking on Sammy Guevara, taking on your champion Chris Jericho in a fatal four-way match. This match has a lot of potential to be an absolute banger. Who do you think's going to be ROH World Champion leaving this match?
So I think the ROH World Title has to stay on the Ocho, Chris Jericho. I'm loving what he's doing with the ROH World Title. Um, I mean, he's the Ocho, man. You can't take it off him right now.
Yeah,
It's his whole shtick. Um,
yeah,
so it kind of ruined the whole the Ocho thing. Um,
which
I
is
guess it
also
wouldn't ruin it, but because he technically would have still held or whatever. But anyway,
I mean, it because he also still like once he drops the AEW title, he still referred to himself as Le Champion.
yeah, that is true. Um, yeah, so I guess he could still do it, but nah, we don't need this to end yet. Chris Jericho's doing
No,
great things with the ROH World Title. Let's
yeah,
keep it on Chris Jericho. I'm gonna take him.
yeah, and I completely agree. I'm taking Chris Jericho. And I think we might be starting to see the downfall of the Blackpool Combat
Yeah, I
Club.
was just about to say that. I think we might get some tension between Danielson and Castagnoli.
And
Maybe a
I'll get in.
Danielson full on heel turn.
Well, yeah, possibly. And I'll get into another reason in the in a little bit, but I think do you think Sammy is going to sort of turn on Chris Jericho in this match, or do you think he's just gonna like obey him and
I
like
don't think he's
team up
gonna
with
like
other
turn.
people?
Like maybe he will, but I think he'll do it in like a stupid way. You know what I mean? Where he just like easily gets caught by Chris Jericho, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh no, I wasn't." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And I'll
um,
say this too. I like how because they had the Moxley took on Danielson in the tournament for the AEW World Title when it was vacated, and they just talked about like how all of the members of the Blackpool Combat Club are fine with fighting each other if there's a title on the line because they all understand that they want to
yeah,
be champion. So I think it's definitely something like Danielson and Claudio can beat the shit out of each other, and the Blackpool Combat Club can still be a thing. And I
yeah,
wouldn't
no,
be
that's
surprised if that
totally,
happens.
yeah, absolutely. That can definitely happen. I mean, the two men, they know what's on. Yeah, they know what's on the line. It's
For
a
sure.
title they've both held before. And they want it back.
Yeah, and I also, although I don't think Danielson's gonna win the ROH title now, I think he will be the next ROH World Champion.
Yeah, and that'll be really awesome.
Yeah, I still think should have won the AEW World Title in that tournament, but that's a
Mhm.
conversation for another time. Following that, we have another absolute banger of a match. We have the AEW Interim Women's World Championship match. Jamie Hayter taking on your champion Tony Storm. Dillon, who do you have coming out on top?
Um, I'll take Tony Storm, but I'm not super happy about it
Word. Why?
because I want Jamie Hayter to win.
Word. Well, that's who I'm picking. I think
Yeah.
Jamie Hayter's going to come out on top. Um, I think Jamie Hayter is an incredible wrestler. She's one of the most talented wrestler on the women's roster, and fans are finally starting to realize it. Everyone on the social media that is a part of the professional wrestling social media is saying that AW needs to put some gold on Jamie Hayter, and I don't think she's gonna be the one to dethrone Jade. And I think that AEW is a company of the people. And I think they realize how over Hater is with the fans, and I think the time is now to put the AEW title on her. Um, Although I'm not feeling great about it, but I still do think that Hater will walk out with the world championship. And this match is going to be awesome for sure.
Yeah, it is going to be awesome, and I will definitely not be disappointed if my prediction is wrong.
Yes, and neither would I, because I still do think it's pretty likely that they're waiting for Storm to take on Thunder Rosa once Thunder Rosa gets back from injury, which is
Mm-hmm.
looking like early next year, next January or February. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And following that, the main event match, the match we've all been waiting for, MJF taking on John Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Dylan, I think we're in agreement, but who do you think's coming out on top?
Maxwell Jacob Friedman is going to leave the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey as the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. He has to. He has to. The time is now. The time is now. It needs to happen. He's the hottest thing in wrestling. He's been pretty much the hottest thing in wrestling, debatably since his debut in wrestling. Um, he's been one of the most talked about guys. He's been like a top 5 talked about superstar in wrestling since AEW's since his debut in AEW with the company. It needs to happen. They need to put it on MJF now. I
Yeah,
mean, dude,
and
he could like
he should have
he's the
won it a
future of the
while ago.
business.
And we both have talked about that a lot. He is the future of the business. He's the future of the company.
But it's
Uh,
almost but doesn't him not winning it a while ago make it him winning it now like just that much more
yeah,
sweet?
especially dude, because like I knew he was young before, but he's like 26 still.
Bro, he's young
Like
as
that's
fuck.
crazy.
Yeah, he's so young, dude.
And
Like, dude, like he's
it's
serious. Did you see him on the podcast where we're generational. He was like guys like John Cena, guys like The Rock, guys like Hulk Hogan. He was like, there comes a time where generational talents are crowned, and he was like, and that's what is happening on Saturday. And I'm, dude, but he's right. Like
yeah,
I'm fully convinced that he is 100% right.
yeah,
Like that he's going to be a superstar that big, and
for
he's going to
sure.
be a babyface too, whether he
I
likes
mean,
it
he
or
like
not.
already almost is, dude.
Yeah,
Now, I'll say this. I want to make this very clear. I know there's been a lot of talk um, from MJF and everyone online. I don't think he's going to WWE. I think there's zero shot he's going
really.
to WWE. Yeah. Why? I mean, I just, I don't know. I just can't see it happening, dude.
I think it's brash to say that there's 0% chance that he goes to WWE.
All right. I'll give him a 3% chance.
Um, we'll see. I
Yeah.
don't know.
See.
I think he wants to go to WWE. That's my thing. Like I think he wants to.
Really?
I just think part of him. All I'm saying is this: part of you, if you grew up being like, if you grew up as like a little kid, like wanting to be like a wrestler, like watching, like I don't know, your favorite wrestler's His favorite wrestler of all time is Triple H,
Yeah. And he loves Roddy Piper?
and it's just like when you think when those guys, I don't know, like wouldn't part of your wouldn't it just feel like something's missing in MJF's career if he was to never step foot in the WWE ring?
Yeah. I mean, but there's also,
There's no reason he can't go and then go back to AEW. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I
I
don't
just
know.
I think there's more opportunity for him in WWE
Yeah, I mean, and we'll have to see
as a
how AEW
household
books
name.
him.
Yeah,
Um, but how do you think? Because
dude.
I've
All right, I'm saying this. All right, sorry, real quick, just to get back there. We'll see, and it's gonna be pretend. And it really, and MJF might be being 100% honest when it comes down to like whoever gives him the most money. Like,
yeah, for sure.
and if that's the case, it's probably gonna be AEW.
You think AEW would give him more than WWE?
Probably.
I don't know, dude. I think WWE, especially in 2024, like who knows where he'll be at in his career. But I'm assuming in 2024 he's going to be at the top of professional wrestling, and I think WWE will realize that, and I think they'll fork over however much it takes to get him in the company.
Yeah. Like my big thing I was gonna say with just like MJ, like I don't know, like I think, like I said, MJF, he just said it. Like he was like guys like The Rock, guys like John Cena, guys like Hulk Hogan. He's like, I am one of those talents. Like those guys became household names by going through the WWE. Like that's like what they did.
Yeah,
Like
and
I'm just
like,
saying,
and it's
it's a
also just,
formula and it works.
and it's also like something pretty
And to have him like
catastrophical is going to have to happen for AEW to become bigger than WWE. Like
that's what I'm
WWE
saying. Like
will
they're
always
never
be
gonna
like the top.
That's what I'm saying. They're never like AEW's great. I love it, but they're never gonna be. They're always gonna be one step below, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's just because they're so far behind. They're fucking
Yeah.
100 years behind. Like,
Yeah.
how are you like? It's not their fault. Like,
Yeah.
um, but it's just like, I mean, it's fucking capitalism as its finest, dude. Like
Yeah.
AEW, you saw like what can happen if you get a bunch of wrestlers and a shitload of money behind them. Like you've seen it, what happened. It happened. It's become AEW.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just like, but with WWE, I just feel like they're just a different ball game, bro. They're just a
Yeah.
different production.
For sure.
Like they go to football stadium. You know what I mean? Like they sell out football stadiums.
Yeah. It's
Like not to be that guy, but full
it's
gear tickets are $40. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and they're obviously going international. They have been. AEW's just going internationally to Canada next year for the first time, and it's which is good. I think it's huge
yeah,
for
no. And like I
AEW.
said, this is not a knock on AEW at all. Like we're saying, they're literally almost 100 years behind. Like WWE has
Yeah.
been basically the only wrestling company for so long.
Yeah.
Like, but
Who
it'll be interesting. I would love to see
I
him go to WWE.
yeah. Me too. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it.
I just want to
Um,
see him on that stage. Like I said, like I love AEW, but there's something about the production of a WWE show. Like it's the highest quality.
yeah. Do you think? All right. I have. This is my final question about this. Do you think, let's say MJF goes there in 2024, do you think that's going to be like the downfall of AEW?
I think it depends. Depends what AEW. I think that's hard to say.
Gotcha. I think it would be a huge loss.
Oh my god, it would be a monstrous loss.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they just like spiral down from that, which would suck. I do love AEW. I
Yeah,
want to
no,
make
I
that
don't. I
very
don't think.
clear.
I don't think they
I feel
would.
like I don't know. Maybe not at first, but I mean, when you lose because like I'm just assuming he's going to be the biggest star in professional wrestling in 2024, and I think
Yeah.
that loss is going to be huge.
Well,
Especially if
yeah.
Cody's still with WWE, it's going to be tough to recover, and you got to think
hmm
everyone's going to be a year or two
Well,
older.
Cody will still be there probably. Yeah, he'll be
Yeah,
there.
I
He's under
don't know what is.
contract.
Yeah, but
He's under
I thought it
contract
was
through 2025.
really.
I'm almost positive Cody's there for at least like 4 or 5 years.
Oh, I thought it was like 2 to 3. We'll have to
We'll
see.
see.
Who cares? Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it doesn't matter.
Um, But so I wanted to do you have any ideas on how this match is going to go down? Cuz I have two things that I think could happen.
I think MJF is going to struggle with the idea. I think he's going to have opportunities to cheat. I think it's almost going to cost him the match. Um, him struggling with it is almost going to cost him the match. But he's got to win. He's got to win clean.
Do you think he will win clean?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. That is my final take.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I would love for him to win clean. Um it's obviously the moment's going it's going to come down to if he's going to cheat to win or not. And I don't buy this nonsense that he's not going to do it by cheating. And I still think the firm, I think this whole, everything that's happening with the firm is all a part of the plan.
Gotcha.
Him firing them, him beating them when they're trying to attack Moxley. I think it's all a part of the plan. Um, because he's really given us no reason to believe that he's turned over a new leaf and is all of a sudden going to be this good guy that doesn't need to cheat to win. Although I would love a clean finish, but I
My
think the firm's going to get involved, and I think he's
gotcha.
just going to show that he truly is the devil and that he's going to win that way.
Um my theory is I don't know, like I think this might just be the I don't know. I see where you're coming from, but I also think it really could just be like this is if they want MJF to be the face of wrestling, like the face of wrestling can't like not pick up clean victories. You know what I mean? So
I want to change my prediction. Um,
to
but it's
what?
something okay. I think now this might be bold. This may be a hot take. Um, I just want it on record. If you're listening, turn up the volume a little bit. Close attention. And I'm definitely going to clip this and we're going to post it on the socials because I want it out there for when it happens. This was the other thing that I thought was going to happen. And I was sort of thinking about it throughout the pod. And I do think this is what's going to happen. So I think, and it's bold, I think William Regal is going to turn on the Blackpool Combat Club.
Ooh.
Um, and I think they had that great shot to end Dynamite between MJF and Moxley facing off, and Regal was between them. There's all of the history behind MJF and William Regal. And the most important part is that sudden appearance of the brass knuckles from Lord William Regal. I think he's
Mhm.
going to clock Moxley with the brass knuckles once the ref's back is turned. MJF is going to win, and then he's going to align himself with William Regal. I want that as my official prediction. So yeah.
I hope it happens. That would be sick.
Yeah. So there you have it. There's our predictions. We will be crowning a champion on the next episode of the pod. But if you can't wait until then, you can follow our social media. We will be posting on there who won, and all of our socials are at The Burnt Hammer. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Definitely make sure to follow us on there. We're more than just a podcast. We do initial reactions, we do news, reports, rumors, breaking news, everything like that. We do some fantasy stuff on there as well at The Burnt Hammer. Follow us on social media. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. That stuff goes a long way. If you're listening via audio streaming service, make sure to leave us a review because that is a very big deal and it really helps us grow, along with following and subscribing, whatever it is that your audio streaming service does. And we are available wherever you listen to your podcast. So definitely make sure to check us out on there. And you can check out Dillon on Twitter and Instagram at DillO'Brien_wave. It's the best way to stay up to date with when he releases new articles, and you'll get his initial reactions for everything that happens in the professional wrestling world, along with my social media, which is MarkIzzo_wave. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Again, MarkIzzo_wave to stay up to date with when we release new articles. And if you want to read our articles, you can head over to vendetta.com. We post a ton of professional wrestling stuff on there, so make sure to check out vendettasportsmedia.com, or if you're on our socials, you can click the link in our bio and it'll take you there. This has been a great episode. Like I said, we'll crown the champion in the next one, but we will also crown it on social media, so follow us on there to see who will become the first Burning Hammer Predictions World Champion. This has been another good episode of the pod. I'm Mark Izzo. He's Dillon O'Brien. And this was another episode of the Burning Hammer Podcast. We'll catch you in the next one.